Okay, I think I'm live. Cool. All right, we'll get started. I think it's kind of an impromptu stream. I didn't really plan on having it, but while I'm building the PC, I just figured I'd go live and see if anyone was interested in watching. So the way this is gonna go is I'm probably just gonna go at my own pace, see how far I get with building this PC, and if there's anybody watching, if you have any questions or if you want to talk about anything related to home automation, OpenHab, or electronics, or any other hobbies, we can also have a little live chat or Q&A. So first, what am I doing here? I'm building a new streaming PC. The streaming or the PC I'm using right now is pretty old. It's 10 years old. I've been putting it to good use over the years, but it's definitely showing signs of its age. It's slow, and it's not great for streaming, and lately it's been freezing up on me. So I decided it was time to put together a new PC. So this is kind of a budget build, if you can call $700-800 a budget, but I wanted to get something that will handle 30 frames per second streaming, and multiple cameras, and maybe a little bit of video editing as well, since I do that down here in my basement workshop as well. So well, welcome everyone. I see there's 6 people online right now, so cool. All right, so the first component right here, the motherboard. Just got this one actually. It's a Gigabyte AB450M B450 chipset, and it's the AM4 socket for Ryzen 7 is what I'm using in this build. So check in. If you're on right now and you can hear this, just let me know if my audio is good, and if I need to adjust anything. I'm moving around a lot, so I'm going to try to speak towards the mic. Alright, I think the standoffs for the motherboard should be in the right location, but I'll double check that without going. I'm gonna try not to get in front of the camera though. So cool, looks good. I need to find the screw for it. them all here. So many different types, I'm not sure which ones are which, but let me before I put the wrong ones in. Oh, the same. I think they're the same type. Motherboard. Same type pieces. All right. Allegedly, they're the same type. So let's put a couple in and hold this thing in place. That one doesn't seem to catch actually. Something's wrong with it. Nope. So I think they are different. Okay, that won't go. Anybody in the chat? Go ahead and say hello, guys. There's eight of us online here, so don't be shy. For these last few, might need a smaller screwdriver. We'll see if I can get away with this one. Cool. So the motherboard is in. I'm gonna remove the M2 heatsink for now. And we will start by putting in the CPU. So, like I said before, I'm using a Ryzen 7 for this. I got pretty decent deal on Black Friday on this on most of these parts actually. This is a Ryzen 7 1700X. So nice 8-core CPU. Should do just fine for, well, should do very well for streaming hopefully. So, and for editing and 3D modeling and all sorts of other hobbies that I enjoy. So alright, just gonna find the mark. Should only fit the one way, but yep. Alright, so the CPU's in. But for this particular cooler that I got, Hyper 212 Evo, pretty popular cooler. I will need to change the brackets for that cooler. So I need to remove the stock brackets that were installed on the motherboard. That removed the bracket from the bottom as well. So let's switch over to the other side. I need to take the cover off too. Knows that bracket. Now need to what's the best way to do this? I might need to take the, well, let me switch the view first. Maybe not. Actually, this might be okay. Alright, so this is a cooler. Cool little cooler. I'll snap the, take the fan off for now. Alright, and then before I do anything with this, I need to mount the bracket. So, here's the actual bracket. Fit over. Nope. That's not the bracket. Here's the bracket. Why is it backwards? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is the bracket for the front. That has to be the back. Now, warranty information. That does us no good. Here's the instruction manual. All 14 steps of it. Okay, so yeah. I need these. Thanks, Aphozia. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream, and welcome to the chat. You're the first to speak up. Thank you. I was feeling a little lonely here before you spoke up. We'll see. We'll see if I can get it done. If not, you know, just be a very expensive piece of art. I like how these screws are packed as well. Look at that. Oh, and thank you for watching my OpenHub series. That's great. I'm working on the next. I'm definitely working on the next video, which is probably the hardest topic, which is rules. And you know, I want to make sure that I cover it in a way that I could understand myself. So definitely look forward to getting that video out. But you know, in the meantime, I've kind of been looking at a couple other projects I've been working on, the home automation switch plate, and you know, working with the Node MCU Cube, you know, adding a couple new features to it. So yeah, look forward, you know, look for my videos in the future. And thanks for speaking up again. All right, so Intel, that's Intel, and yeah, definitely nothing like a new build. I love these things, but kind of doing this on the fly. It's all Intel stuff, man. For AMD, they do want me to put. Okay, all right, so I had it right the first time. This is the way it's going to go. And then AM4, this board, is going to use these outer holes on here. And then on the other side, okay, so this 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a cool little socket. And somewhere I had those washers. Yeah, I saw me put those away somewhere. Help. literally just have them here somewhere. Awesome. And this is exactly what happens every time you build something. Alright, clean this place up a little bit. Clean the workspace, and hopefully we'll find the things that we're missing. Oh. Yep, they're right here. And I don't know why I couldn't see them. Alright, so these 4 will go in from the bottom up here, and then I guess they just thread into the holes on here, on the bracket. Yep. Right, so I'm gonna need to stand this thing up for a second so you guys won't get a decent view yet, but just for a minute. But that doesn't really thread in, so that's not right. Oh, there's not. Alright. So they are actually threaded holes. I'm supposed to use nuts on the other side. All nuts. Okay, so before I make another mistake, there really isn't a front or back on here, it doesn't seem like. Okay, cool. Awesome. I feel your pain. That's exactly what just happened. I knew exactly where I put those washers, and then I just couldn't see them right in front of me. So while I'm doing this boring part of the build, which, you know, just putting bolts and nuts together, you want to talk about any of the OpenHAB stuff that you've got running? Any cool automations you've done recently or anything like that? Just starting out? Cool. Cool. What do you okay. Do you have your Raspberry Pi already set up? An OpenHAB installed on it? Yeah, next step is getting the actual hardware for it. Need to download the editing software. Okay, that's yeah, VS Code. Definitely made a huge difference to be able to actually edit the configuration files. You know, with VS Code as opposed to having to go into Nano or any of the other editors, you know, text file editors that are available on the Linux system. Cool. All right, so I think we have. Let me see. Make sure I have the thing set up so that you can see it better. Some better lighting in here. All right, so now to these a little bit. Okay. Get some paste on that CPU. We should be able to attach the cooler. Think that's enough paste on there? That's a good question actually. Let's talk about that. Athos. Is Athos the correct way to pronounce your name? The Sonoff switches that you have. First of all, are you using the Sonoff Basics or the S31, for example? Like, let me show you one. I'm playing with right now. ZA means you're from South Africa. Okay, I think I somehow had that. I somehow knew that. But I've seen other people on Twitter with the ZA. Like the actual like acronym. Is that an acronym, I guess, or is it? Okay, cool. So for example, this switch right here, this is a Sonoff S31. Very nice switch. Very nice design. It's well, for the U.S. market at least, right? Because you have the U.S. and Canada have this this particular plug style. Most of the plugs that I've seen are big, you know, big round ones, and you know, for our double height sockets, once you plug that one in, you lose the ability to put anything else in the socket. So these you can actually stack them, you know, one on top of the other. So whether it's this one, which you know, that's a nice plug. I'm probably gonna do a video on that one soon. I just got one installed and controlling my Christmas tree lights. But the basics, like this one, I also got one of these flashed. The general the general rule, I guess, is you don't want to really use the standard firmware that comes with these, the Sonoff firmware. It's, you know, you can use it with their app, and I guess you could get integrated with OpenHAB via a something like the HTTP binding, but you probably don't want to go that route anyway, because now you're using the cloud, and you know the whole point of OpenHAB, I think, is to make a cloudless system. So yeah, so exactly. So what you do is you get it flashed with Tasmota, There's plenty of videos out there on Tasmoda and Sonos, but like I said, because the S31 is fairly new, I haven't really seen much out there. So I'll make a video on the S31, and it'll pretty much be the same process as the basic, and then I'll include the instructions on how to get it incorporated into OpenHAB. Basically, you just have a mosquito binding, MQTT, and you just post the command to the mosquito topic, and you receive the status from the mosquito broker as well as to whether the plug is turned on or off. So yeah, so thanks for that idea, and I'll definitely work on getting a video out for incorporating Sonos with OpenHAB. Pretty simple. Yep. So yeah, so like I said, I have my Christmas tree controlled on the S31. It was a, once I had it flashed, it was a 5-minute ad to just add the item for it. No problem. All right, so get the paste on. And please peel out the label. All right, so I'm gonna get it mounted in this way. First though, slide this one in, slide this bracket in, and get positioned so we don't mess up the paste. Okay. So this cooler, this Ryzen, this is the 1700X. It did not come with the stock cooler. I know the 2700X. I mean the second generation Ryzens do come with coolers, stock coolers. This one did not, so I just ended up picking the most popular one I saw at the store I was in, which is for me that's Micro Center. $2,400G. I was looking at that one actually because that one has the integrated graphics, right? So that would have been a lot cheaper if I just went with that one and then didn't opt for a dedicated graphics card. But because I'm dealing with streaming and modeling and stuff like that, I wanted to have a dedicated graphics card, and I'll show you that beast in a second. I hope that thing fits in here because it's an RX 580 and it's a triple slot card, so I really hope that I didn't get the wrong card for this build. Cross pattern on here. This one wasn't tight yet. good to me. Yeah, the RX 580. I love those cards. I did, before I made this build, I actually built a new PC for my office as well, and I used the RX 580 on there. I used the Gigabyte Aorus one, Aorus Red. For this one, I opted to go with something that was a little cheaper, but also an RX 580. Okay, so now we'll just snap on the fan. And I hope, yep. So a little bit of paste leaked out, so I'm gonna get that cleaned up before putting the fan on. Cool. Ah, see? I'm glad you told me that. I thought I was putting on a little more than I needed. The other build that I made, the stock cooler on the Ryzen 2700, actually came with the paste pretty much pre-applied. So that was my first time putting thermal paste on the CPU. So you live and you learn. Cool. So let's get back to this, and I'm gonna put the fan on. Guess really doesn't matter for cabling, but maybe I can get it hidden a little bit better if I do it this way. Cable management, you're right. I'm all about it. I want to make sure that this build is, looks as clean as possible. So, okay, so the fan is in, the cooler is in. I think the first thing I want to do is I already have a power supply in here. I'm going to try to attach the power cables to the CPU and the motherboard, and do a first boot just to make sure I don't let the smoke out. Do a smoke test on it. So I need to feed in. I need to set this upright again. Okay, and then there's not really a way for me to go other than through. Only 4-pin connector, you're right. I mean, this one's actually pretty nice. I don't know if make sure that I can at least show you a little bit of it. The the cables are shrunk together, so it's not as bad, I think, but definitely a pain to deal with. It's funny. I'm looking at the stream right now. You can actually see inside the case through this thing. Let me remove the filter cover. Okay. Alright, and CPU. Of course, the CPU connector is in the worst possible spot. So, let's see how far I can get this in. Yeah, you're right. You hate that it feels so hard to pop in. That and the RAM memory sticks. Those are the two things I absolutely hate dealing with, because I always feel like I'm about to break either the memory or the slot. And this one's too short, so I'll need the bigger, the longer cable. And the connector is actually all the way back here. So not sure what the best way to do this will be. Probably would have been a better idea to put this on before I put the cooler on. I didn't realize that it was all the way back here. So it seems like the tab, yep, the tab is on that side. Let's just see if I get lucky with it. Huh. That's not going on. Not sure. Make sure these are stuck together first, and then try to put it in that way. Oh wait. I'm not even putting in the right connector in. PCI E. Thought that was the right one. That might be for the video card. Let's see. It's the you know what? It's an 8-pin connector for some reason on this board, and the pattern I was just looking at threw me off. Let's try that again. Let's see if there's a specific connector on here. 8-pin. No, I'm sorry. 12. No, 4, 2, 4, 8. It is an 8-pin. Yep. An 8-pin, and it's got square square pins on the edges on this row, and then square pins in the middle on the second row. So the connector I'm using here has the wrong type of pins, and they're reversed on this one, and yeah, that will not work. Apparently I was not using the right one. 4 and 4 split, yep, that's the one I'm looking at right now. So let's see, that is still not quite what I was expecting though. It is on this side though. Help. Why is this different? Why would they be different on both sides? I know one of these plugs into the power supply, and that should match what's on the actual motherboard. CPU connector on here. I need better light. One sec. CPU connector on here is different on the motherboard, on the power supply. CPU 4+4 pin. Okay, so I think I have the right cable for the CPU side. I wish I had attached all the cables to this before I put it back in there. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to remove the power supply first, figure this out, and then attach it back in. Alright, so hopefully you can see that. CPU connector on here. It's the same one as the one on, okay. Yeah, it's a nice power supply. Fully modular. I can, I don't have to put all the cables on. And I thought I was getting away with just these two for now, because I'm not using an external drive, and I'm not using any. I'm using the M2 SSD slot, so I won't have to have any external drives, external drive power, or any other drive power. So I think really I just need the PCI Express, the motherboard, and the CPU connector. So I just need to find the right one. But what's confusing is, did I just put that guy? What's confusing to me is that this connector right here has 2 square and in the middle, and then 2 square on the outside on the second row. On the other end of the cable, it's completely different. This doesn't even have the square ones on this one. But I guess a round peg will fit in a square hole. So we'll see. See. Maybe. No, this has to go on the other end. This has to go on the CPU end. And this is the modular supply end. This is the only cable. So, yeah, this is the only 8-pin cable I have in the set other than the PCI Express cables. So, for some reason that's the 4+4 that you were talking about, AFUS. Okay, so put it on CPU end. Perfect. All right. So yeah, my confusion was is explained, I guess. Sounds very nice how modular these PCs have gotten over the years. Because I remember, when building a computer way back. I mean, I'm talking about 15 years ago. Things were definitely not this modular. So that's nice. I mean, there was a lot more cables back then to attach as well. So IDE ribbon cables, for example, those things were a mess. I think the reason is that the old CPUs use 4 pins only, so they split out for that reason. You can use that cable on a new motherboard. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, AFUS. See, learning from each other. That's the way this should be. That's the way things are on YouTube. And that's why I love YouTube. Cool. Still have to find a way to squeeze my hands in between the 2 different fans. I'd probably help if I remove the fan. And maybe I will do that. Start with one and then do the other one. Ah, success. Whew. Wow, that took way longer than expected, but here we are. Life is too short to try and make it fit. Alright, here we go. Fan going back on, and we just need to figure out the power supply cables and, or I'm sorry, the LED and controller cables. Okay, it's like my wiring got a little caught on here, so get that fan on right proper. Okay, snapped in. Hey, Esco. Glad to see you online. We're doing great. Athos is helping me figure out things with PC builds, because I'm kind of bungling my way through here. So far we have the motherboard installed, the CPU is installed, and the heatsink is in, or the cooler is in. Now we're getting ready to attach the motherboard control cables. Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised to see you last this long, Athos. Thank you for holding out so long. I know it's pretty late where you were at. Are you 6 hours ahead? I mean, I'm on East Coast, U.S. time here, so I'm not sure what time it is for you. USB 3.0. Okay, that's this one, right? Yeah, that's the nice blue one. USB card reader, HD audio, another USB port cable, and then these things. This is kind of a mess here. So midnight. Cool. Midnight on the 31st, last day of the year. So if I don't see you guys, or if you end up leaving soon, Happy New Year to everyone. It's been a pretty crazy 2018, and hoping for an even better 2019. I think just the fact, starting a channel this year and growing from, no subscribers back in February to 2,200, whatever it is today. It's kind of exciting, and kind of happy to see it. At school, you're doing IT in school, so perfect. That's just what I need right now. Thank you. I'm glad I did this live stream, because I'm getting a lot of help from you guys. You're keeping me company too, so that's real nice of you. While I'm bungling my way through here. So, all right, I think I'll just slot these through and figure out on the other side. Hopefully I don't need too much more slack. Yeah, depending on how the rest of the build goes here, I may kind of split it up into two parts. I'm probably good for another hour myself before this starts getting to me. So I'm gonna use this cover to hold the cables in place. All right, so we'll probably start from this side and just walk our way back towards the back of the PC. Specs. Okay, yeah, we can talk about that real quick. microATX case, or mini tower, using a 750 watt power supply, a B450 Aorus motherboard from Gigabyte. It's the Aorus M. Ryzen 7 1700X CPU with a Hyper 212 cooler and 16 gigs of RAM. I'm not even sure what the RAM speed is. I'll take a look at that later. And an RX 580, RX 580 video card and an M2 NVMe SSD. All right, reset switch. Let's actually get all these together. These are a pain. These are definitely a pain. Power LED plus, power LED minus. So I think I saw that one already here. P LED. And the worst part about this is the writing on here is so small. So I'm having kind of a fun time reading it from all the way up here. Plus and minus. Okay, so that's these two right here. And this is the hard drive LED, plus and minus, and I saw that right on the bottom here. You know what? I have the motherboard tech manual somewhere here, so. Why did I go for Ryzen? You know what? I used to be fully, fully Intel. I've never used AMD before. And then I was specking out a build for my office computer, which has become my main computer really, and I just could not justify spending the extra money on an Intel CPU for the fact that the Ryzen CPU had more cores, and it just seemed to me like more bang for the buck. So that's the reason I went with the Ryzen 7 on the other build. And when I was thinking of doing another one, which is this guy, it was an obvious choice as well. So front panel, connections. Where's the connection? Pin out. Battery. Front panel. Here we go. So looking at it, I'm looking at it upside down, but hard drive, power LED, power switch is the second one here. So yep, plus and minus. Yep, I definitely looked at that. Plus for the power LED and for the hard drive LED is on the left side, looking at it from upside down. So the left side here, and I have that's the way I oriented it. But I will double check. Thanks for the tip. That's cool. Yep, definitely plus is on the right side, oriented this way. And I will reorient these just so I can read the text on them. Power LED plus is okay, so I think I was right, but always good to double check before we let the smoke out. Yeah, I could turn it 180 degrees, but I'm kind of trying to keep it all in one spot so you guys can see it. Don't want to reorient it too many times. And then power switch. Okay, power switch doesn't have a plus or minus. Obviously, it's just a switch. So it is the top one. So I'm kind of doing the orientation. I'm doing the reversing in my head as we go. Reset switch is right underneath the power switch, so it should be the opposite side here. Okay. There's the speaker. This motherboard did come with, or the case did come with the speaker. Don't know if I want to install it. I think I'm going to skip that. Okay, and then here we go. This is USB card reader, USB 3.0. This is the 3.0 right here. I'll worry about cable management later on, but for now, let's get it plugged in. Front side USB 1 and 2. So we'll just use one here. Athos. Go in bed. Have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for your help with the CPU cabling and just the build in general. Thanks for keeping me company. And happy New Year to you. Definitely watch all my videos and thank you for that. You know, it's the reason I make them is because you guys are watching them. So that's the you know, it makes me feel good if I'm helping you guys out in any way, making you better at OpenHAB or anything else. So I love sharing that knowledge and love that you guys are watching it and enjoying it. So thanks. And then we have the HD audio, which I saw over here. Alright, I'll worry about the wiring like I said once we get it all buttoned up. But really, right now I should be able to at least power this thing up and make sure that no smoke comes out. But yeah, before I do that, I want to make sure that the case fans are running as well. So, twist this thing around again. Where do I live, Esco? I am in the U.S., East Side, East Coast. Pretty much in the kind of between Philadelphia and New York. So, New Jersey. Yeah. How about you? Where are you from, Esco? I think you're from Europe, right? Norway. Okay. Excellent. So you're are you far enough north in Norway to well, I mean, see things like the Northern Lights and not have too much of a daylight? Or are you in the southern part, like closer to the sea? So cool. I feel you. I hate the winter. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd prefer if we just had summer all the time. peripheral cabling. So once again, I'm gonna get this thing out just a little bit so I can pop this cable in. This is only for the fan controller. That's the only power I actually need here. So this being a smaller case is a little more of a pain to deal with. This cabling here. The other computer I built had proper full case, the big case, and I definitely had a lot less issues with dealing with getting to the power supply cabling. Let's see if I can just do this in. 2 hours north of capital of Oslo, right? Oslo is the capital of Norway. So you're definitely in the southern part. Cool. Somehow I got that in. Cool. Alright, so this peripheral cabling right here, all I really need from here is the power connector for the fan controller. So that will give me power for the case fans. Alright, so we'll get oriented this way again. And I think I'm ready to power this on for the first time. You prefer ATX cases, motherboards? Yeah, I definitely like the bigger motherboards and cases. Like I said, the only reason I really didn't use that in this case is for the workbench here, I kind of have a smaller slot where I can fit the computer case, so that's why I didn't use the full size tower. All right. So, provided I connected everything correctly, we should not let the smoke out. USB 3.0. I have it on the top of the case here, right there. Let me know if you see it. Probably not. And that's the power button right here. So just one final check to make sure I didn't leave any tools or screws lying around. And power. Oops. Power switch first. On the motherboard, right there, that's the connector that I plugged in with the rest of the front side pins. Alright, now we should be able to press the power switch. Look at that. Wait for it. No smoke yet. Yep, so I did not connect the I didn't connect anything. I didn't connect the disk or video card or the RAM yet. And yet those are the last things that I'm gonna connect. But really, I just want to make sure that the motherboard and the CPU wouldn't do anything I didn't want it to do. Alright, so now I can connect. Now I can put the disk in, and I can put the RAM in and the video card, and that should be really it for the build. Yep, I feel you. I know. Yeah, I know I need the RAM. I really wanted to make sure that I had the right connections and everything. Like, not right connections, just call me you know, excessively careful, but I didn't want it. If I was gonna burn something up, I'd prefer it was the motherboard and CPU and not everything else in the build. Cool, so let's see. First, I need to put in the M2 drive. RAM and CPU are the first things you do before you even touch the case. I got you. Okay. Like just powering up with the RAM and the CPU in. I love these drives. I can't get over how much memory fits on this little stick of PCB here. And I love the fact that I don't have to have a separate drive anymore, that it just fits on the motherboard. Okay. So I need to move the M2 screw. Unplug this before anything else. Actually, I know what I need to do. The motherboard. Mounting screw for the M2 drive. So I'm running out of space here, but I think we're getting close, so that's a good sign. That's a good thing. The number of empty boxes is increasing, which means that we're getting closer to the end of the build. Okay. Like you said, I definitely prefer the larger cases because this is kind of a pain dealing with all the tight space here. I need to find a way to slot that in. There we go. Ah! This is so annoying. Need a smaller screwdriver. Unfortunately, I don't have one handy, so I'm not gonna waste time looking for one right now. Actually, I do. So as you can probably tell, this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. So, yeah, kind of winging it. And hopefully you guys are enjoying watching me struggle. Next time you're gonna build a computer, connect the M2 CPU and RAM before putting it in the case. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I definitely would have had less pain to deal with if I did all the motherboard connections or motherboard components while it was still outside the case. So yeah, definitely a lesson learned for next time. Thanks. We got the heatsink on. Two drivers in place. I'm gonna need to remove the slot cover. So I can install the graphics card, but before I do that, I think I'm gonna put the RAM in. And this is the RAM I'm using. Rip jaws from G-Skill, and it is pretty basic RAM. I got the 2400 16 gig. With this memory, I'm hoping that it works, but because the first time I built the computer, I built it with the G-Skill memory. The memory I got was not working correctly, so I'm hoping that I don't have any issues with this one. I have to get it replaced. Right now the slots are, looking at the motherboard manual earlier, I need to put them in slot 1 and slot 2, which are 1, 3, 2, 4. So this is slot 2. Need more light again. Yep, that's right. as I was saying earlier with Athos, I definitely hate putting RAM memory in. I just feel like I'm about to break the board or the memory. Cool. Memory's in place. So now the only thing that's left is the video card. And this thing is a beast. It's Red Devil Radeon RX 580, and it is a triple slot card, so it's going to take up all of the space in this case. Look at this thing. A block of, it's a brick, basically. It is a brick. Okay. So I definitely need to remove 2 PCI slots for this, obviously, or PCI blanks. Cool. Look at those heat sinks. Piping and everything. This thing's pretty beastly. Make sure that the tab is unlatched. It's in here. Looks like it's in. Yeah, it's I see exactly what you're talking about, Esco. I mean, the whole motherboard is moving, shifting, and twisting. Hopefully, I mean, I put all the standoffs in, so you know, I would expect it to be not as flimsy. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of weight on this thing. So I definitely agree that as much as possible should be done while the motherboard is outside of the case. Alright, so next thing I need to do is put the PCIe connectors on the video card. But the thing I'm seeing here is kind of weird because the PCI Express cable only has 8 pins and I'm seeing 11, or no, not even 14. 7, yeah. So I know the 4 pin will go in here. I wonder if I need to have yet another cable specific for this, or I'm not sure why that would be. How's it going with the cameras and OpenHAB? So good question. That's actually part of the reason I'm going here. I'm building this computer is to use the other one. I'm gonna probably use the old one. I'm gonna take it apart, get it cleaned up, see if I can figure out what's causing the computer to freeze, and probably replace the memory anyway. And I'm gonna use that computer, which is still a nice quad core Intel computer, and put it into a make it into an NVR. Basically, I want to make it into an NVR because right now what I'm doing is I have a QCam system, an NVR system with 8 cameras, and the NVR is completely unsupported. There's no firmware updates for it or anything, and I haven't had any luck getting it to work with OpenHAB. So I'm definitely going to look into basically taking the cameras off of the NVR. I'll need to buy a power over Ethernet switch to get them onto my regular home network, and then I'll use the computer that I've been using as my workshop computer as the NVR. And at that point, I can use the what's it called? At that point, I can use the IP camera binding that Skinna put together on the OpenApp forums. There's a topic for the IP camera binding that he built, and I know it works with the cameras that I have, the QCam, I'm sorry, the Amcrest cameras, but it does not work. I have not been able to get it work through the NVR. So if I have a dedicated NVR, and yeah, exactly, Blue Iris and Zone Miner is what you're saying. That's exactly what I'm thinking of using. So cool. So I need an 8-pin and a 6-pin cable. So I know the 8 pins come from the PCIe. 6-pin though. The only 6-pin cables I have that came with this power supply guess would be these. Are you sure I need to double them up like this? Is this thing really that much of a beast? And replace the thermal compound. Where do you what thermal compound do you mean? Which on the video card? For now, let's get the 4-pin cable here. Awesome. The case just got really heavy too. The thermal compound was on. No, I reapplied. I applied it before I put the cooler on the CPU. Yeah, I definitely did that before we mounted the cooler. So here's what I'm looking at. I have the PCI Express power cable. It comes with two. So can I just double it up like this? Is that what you mean? That'll be an 8-pin and a 6-pin. Or do I have to run a separate cable from separate one of these from the power supply? Either way, for now, you definitely need use the middle one. We need at least one of these in there. As long as you have both connected, you should be okay. All right. Except, wow, yeah. All right. Hopefully, I have enough slack here to be able to do this. Nope, the other way. Okay, so I have all the cables connected, I think. All right, just one thing before I do anything else. Yeah, I want to double check something while we're here because the car requires external power lead from the power supply. I mean, if it fits, it ships, right? Okay. I mean, we could probably look it up real quick online, so let me do that. This is the power collar RX 580 red dabble. Post that up. That's the card. lots of information, but not what we're looking for. One 6-pin and one 8-pin PCI Express power connectors. Okay. Alright, you know what? I mean, I think I'm looking at this the right way. I mean, I think we're both looking at it the right way, but thanks for following me. Thank you for following me on Instagram. By the way, anybody else watching, definitely add me. Add me to your Instagram and Twitter, and I mean, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And if you like any sort of the videos that I've been making or the projects that I'm working on, there's definitely more in the works. I'm coming up with with a couple new ideas for sensors and projects. So, all right, so I guess we can call it complete, right? PCI Express. I think I'm ready to just try it. Before I do anything else, I'm going to attach the remaining screws for the power supply. So, one sec. I mean, the way I'm looking at this, I know there is a separate cable for PCI Express on the power supply. So I guess if it does require extra power, I'll probably find out about it pretty soon. But the way it's hooked up right now, I'm pretty confident we'll at least have it working for now. If I see any issues, I'll probably run a dedicated power line for that secondary connector. Use a cable like mine for GPU for a long time. Cool. Yeah, that's kind of figure. I think unless you're a real hardcore gamer or something that the power supply is wheezing and the graphics card is screaming, I really don't think it's going to require all that much extra power. So again, we're ready to give this thing a shot, I think. Alright, and this time I'll plug it into the monitor so I can take a look at post at least. I'm not going to install Windows on this yet, or not during the live stream, I guess. But I definitely want to show you guys it posting just so we can call the build complete and good. So let me find a cable. Or I'm going to steal it from one of my two monitors here, but before I do that, I'm going to move everything over to the other screen. I'm using DVI for now, hoping that that's automatically enabled. Should be. Alright, so once again, power's on. See what happens. 3, 2, 1. Alright. All the lights, diagnostic lights are going on. And I got post. Probably should have shown you the camera. Let's see. I need to figure out. Not sure what the best way to do this will be, but let's give it a shot. That's. There we go. Alright, let's reset so I can show you that again. There you go. Yours. Woohoo! Alright. How about that? Kind of surprised myself that it worked first time. CPU cooling fan is running. Just so we know it's not the yeah. Pretty sure it's running. It's running pretty slowly. Okay, yeah. As soon as I turn off the case fans and the CPU fan still working, still running. It's running at pretty slow speed. The video card fans are working as well. So press F2. I would press F2 if I had a keyboard hooked up. Let's see. I don't want to remove it from the main computer yet. Let's see if I can grab one from somewhere real quick. Hold on. So unfortunately I don't have one handy here. what I will do, just so I can prove to you that post made it through and the BIOS is operational. After we're done here, after I'm get off the screen, the live stream, I mean, I'll connect the keyboard here, and well, I won't take a screenshot. I guess I'll take a photo of the BIOS screen. So we'll look at all the features and options that are in there. So cool. I'm kind of happy. This is looking okay. I'll probably run mem tests and stuff like that on the memory too, just to make sure that there's no issues there. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to overclock it much. We'll see, I guess, if I even need to. So cool. I think it's 2 hours pretty much. Post a short video or pic on Instagram. Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah, once I get Windows installed and get the computer all up and running, I'll definitely post some pictures on Instagram. Eskel, thank you so much for keeping me company, and it was a pleasure chatting with you in chat. Thank you for your help with all the small little issues here and there. Good tips too, definitely on taking the motherboard and putting all the hardware on it first before inserting it into the case. And that's it. So to all of you, to all the viewers, I will keep this live stream on playback, so just so anybody can kind of watch me struggle with the build. I gotta post things like that too. To anyone watching though, thanks for being subscribers. Thanks for watching my channel, and there's more videos to come. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for making 2018 such a great year. And thank you, thank you all for watching, and keep watching in 2019. Happy New Year. Take care. Bye bye.